Hey, I'm Greg from the Gamma Ray Society, and I have in front of me 6 packs of Star Wars Unlimited Shadows of the Galaxy. We're going to open these guys up, and let's figure out the best deck that we can make in a sealed format. All right, here we go. Let's hope we get a showcase leader. I'm really hoping I do. All right, but if we don't, that's okay. We'll still make the best deck possible, and I'll go through all the strategies. And you can tell me where we're right and where we're wrong. All right, first leader, up we go, is Cad Bane. All right, we can live with Cad Bane. Coronet City, I'm gonna zip through all the commons until I get to the first uncommon. All right, we have Crosshair. Unexpected Escape. That might be a pretty good one. Bravado. Maul. That's very good. That's a real good rare. I'm going to put that off to the side. And we have a Hyperspace Foil, Relentless Pursuit, common. Okay, well, that's a pretty good start. Maul, I think, is really good. Goes with our leader, so it looks like we're all kind of in sync right now. Our next leader, Fennec Shand. That's fine. Not really goes with Maul that much, but let's see what else we get here. Go by all the commons. First uncommon is for LOM. It's actually not bad. Commission. Very nice. Hyperspace IG-11, uncommon. Loam Pike as my rare. Very nice. Kylo's TIE Silencer. Foil. I'm going to actually get a separate sleeve for that so we don't accidentally bend that one up. I might do the same here for Maul. Alright, just give me a second. Alright, we're off to a pretty good start. We got some pretty good bangers right off the bat. I'm really excited about getting this thing started. Alright, let's that's rare. Next pack. Yeah, like I said, wow, that's pretty good. TIE Silencer and a Maul. The only thing that would be better now is a showcase. Okay, well, we didn't really need Fennec Shand there. Apparently my force powers aren't working so well at the moment. All right, let's zip by the commons. First uncommon is Lurking TIE Phantom, Bounty Hunter's Quarry, the Client, and the rare is Jango Fett. Very nice. I like Jango Fett. And we have a Sundari Peacekeeper as the foil uncommon. Could actually be pretty good. Alright, so the rare was Jango Fett. Alright, no more Fennec Shands. Let's see what else we got here. And the leader is... Well, looks like we have a choice between Cad Bane and Fennec Shand. Well, let's see what other cards we have here. Get to the first uncommon. Alright. Chrysanthemum. Mercenary Gunship. Jetpack. And Heroic Resolve. Not a bad upgrade. And the armor as a foil uncommon. That is just fine. So put Heroic Resolve there. 2 packs left. Let's get something good here. Something other than Cad Bane and Fennec Shand. Alright, let me see if I can get my force powers going. Han Solo. Well, you know, I'm getting old. Alright, here we go. Getting past the commons. Ooh, that's a real nice Smuggler's Aid. Hyperspace. First uncommon is another Cassian Andor. That's fine. Another Enticing Reward. Freetown Backup. And the rare is a Swoop Down. That's fine. And this foil is a Hyloban Enforcer. Okay. Last pack. Let's see if we can get something good here. I will forego the force powers on this one. Ray with a nice hyperspace ray. Okay, that actually gives us some really good opportunities here. And first uncommon, Salacious Crumb, Midnight Repairs, Armed to the Teeth, and the rare is Inspiring Mentor. Well, okay, that's okay. The common, or the foil, is Outflank, which isn't a bad limited card. So, all right, well, I think we have a good set of leaders. The rares and legendaries started out real strong, but kind of petered out at the end. But let's see if we can make the best deck possible with what we got. All right, I'm going to sort these up, and I'll be right back, and we'll start putting this deck together. Okay, and we're back. The first thing I've done is I've separated the leaders and my rares and legendaries. I only got one legendary in this sealed pool. The others are rares. The first thing that I noticed is that the leaders are really in opposition to the rares and legendaries that I got, especially the big bangers, which I would think Maul, I really, if I can ever get Maul down on in a limited tournament, I think that's going to be a very positive situation. Jango Fett is another very good one, especially if there's bounties out there with that overwhelm. So, and then they're both in villainy, and I have four, technically three leaders available that are all heroic. The only villainy leader that I have is Cad Bane. So Cad Bane immediately becomes one of the leaders that I consider. And then I'm just going to have to go through these cards and see if any of the other heroic cards make sense. I just don't have a lot here that would lend me to believe that heroic is going to be something that I would be able to play at least better in this situation than villainy. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Let's first look at the command cards, and we will go from there. Okay, so here are all the command cards that I have. I did include the Maul and the Inspiring Mentor also in this consideration. And again, the first thing that pops right out to my mind is that it looks like the command villainy combination really has more power than the command heroic. I like Salacious Crumb, heal 1 damage from your base, and I can exhaust it to deal 1 damage to a ground unit. Crosshair kind of is the same way, just even larger. I can exhaust that in order to do damage directly to a unit. Maul, of course, I think is just fantastic with Overwhelm. And there's also some pretty good early units that we'd be able to use. This collection Starhopper is going to give me a presence in space. The Gamorrean Retainer has a chance to be a Sentinel, especially if I have another command card. Although if I do use Cad Bane, the command will not be in my leader, but there seems to be enough command here that I'd be able to use that. I think my decision right now is that I'm probably going to get rid of the heroic cards, at least from this particular analysis. I might change my mind if the rest of the analysis comes in, but I think that this would be pretty much, if I decide to go to command, this would probably be what I do. And the biggest thing about command is that I get to have Maul. And I think that would really be a benefit. The other thing I forgot to mention is that this mercenary company also has Ambush and Overwhelm, which I think can be very, very popular, very, very effective in a limited match. So I'm feeling really good about command. Cad Bane with command seems to be a very, very strong approach right now, at least as I look at it now. But let's look at some of the other aspects. Okay, here's aggression. So the first thing again that I notice is that my villainy units seem to outpace the heroic units. And again, I think I'm just going to immediately pick up these heroic units and continue with the analysis as if I'm going to be using the villainy side of aggression, again using Cad Bane perhaps as a potential leader. If I were to compare this to command, I think that the command had more power. I mean, obviously this has Jango Fett, Chrysantin also seems to be very powerful. but is this as powerful as Maul and the Mercenary Company cards that I had previously? There are some early 2-drops in space, so in that regard, aggression seems to be similar to Command. IG-88 also is a very good card, I think, in Limited with that 6/5. And on attack, I can deal 3 damage to a damaged unit on the ground. But is that as powerful as perhaps Salacious Crumb and a Crosshair that I can do the similar effect? IG-11 needs to be able to do that damage to a damaged ground unit. So there's a little bit of a criteria there that I think I'm just better off in Command. So right now, I think that this would have been good. Perhaps I could try to build aggression with perhaps a Han Solo deck. How would that work? Well, that is not going to do so good with Han Solo, the Rokai gunships, because it has only 1 toughness. The House Cast Soldier, and of course all these units would also would do well with Han Solo, since Han Solo is going to do 2 damage if I decide to use his ability. So there might be some possibilities here if I were to go with Han Solo, but for right now, I'm still kind of leaning towards Command with Cad Bane. Let's take a look at Cunning and Vigilance and see what happens there. Okay, here's Vigilance, and it looks like pretty much as I expected. There is a well, actually in this particular case, it looks like the heroic cards are actually more powerful than my villainy cards. I'm not a big fan of Hylaban Enforcer. I don't like that bounty, especially if you play it early, then you give your opponent a card, which has more meaning earlier in the game. And if you play it late, there's just not enough power there to deal with it, even though it does have grit. So I think nothing really changes my mind. I have a lot of low resource units. Moisture Farmer, I know that's really good, especially if you can buff Moisture Farmer up. That Restore 2 is important, so that's something I guess I got to keep in the back of my mind. But maybe there's another way that I can get Restore, or at least protect my base if I were to use a different approach. So, you know, I think there are some really good cards here. I do like the Client. I like Gentle Giant, especially in Limited. I really like the Rival's Fall. Blue is the best way to deal with removal, but they're just, I just think that in this particular card pool, we just don't have that kind of power available to us. So I suppose I should look at one additional thing. I do have this Lom Pike, which also should probably be considered, but boy, I tell you, I don't think that's enough to change my mind. Okay, we're going to move on from Vigilance, and we're going to take a look at Cunning, and then go from there. Okay, so here's Cunning, and you know, I think there's some pretty good options here. I do, you know, one of the things when you're dealing with Cad Bane, you want to make sure you have enough Underworld. We have a really nice Underworld here with 4 LOM, also a really nice Underworld with Slaver's Freighter. There is a 2-drop with Privateer Sict, although that is not Underworld. I do have this Relentless Pursuit, which is an interesting card. It is essentially removal, especially later in the game. If you're trying to swing for that last turn, you can get rid of a pesky unit. And there should be enough Bounty Hunters. There's a Bounty Hunter here and a Bounty Hunter here with Resourceful Pursuers. You know, that we will be able to maybe take advantage of that. We also have the ability to do the Wanted and the Enticing Reward in order to get some bounties on our opponent's unit, so we can take advantage of that. So, you know, I think that, again, nothing yet here that would lead me to believe that we shouldn't consider Cad Bane, pairing Cunning with Command. I still think that that's probably the best way. There's one more analysis that we need to do, which is to look at our non-colored cards, and of course our heroic and villainy cards. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so here's the remaining cards from the card pool. I have the villainy cards and the heroic cards, also the non-colored cards as well. The first thing that I see is that I really like this Hut's Henchman. It's Underworld, so that has the synergy with Cad Bane, and it comes in shielded. Shielded's really important for the limited format, just because you keep those units out there a little bit longer. So that's, I think, a very good thing. We have this Bounty Guild Initiate, which is a bounty hunter, and if there's another bounty hunter, I can do 2 damage to a ground unit. So, there's an option there. And then also this mercenary gunship. I don't know if I want to try to use that. I can take control of that unit, and any player can use that. So I might put that aside, but this Mandalorian Warrior I think is also a good possibility. I think the 2 heroic cards that I have are fine. Smuggler's Aid is really nice with the smuggle mechanic, and the Wookiee Warrior is a very fine unit, but I think I know what I need to do. I'll be right back with the final leader selection, and then we'll build this deck and see how it plays. Okay, so I'm back with all the leaders. And, I think it's pretty obvious what it is that we need to do once we do the analysis. I don't think there's enough power within the heroic cards to play any of the heroic leaders. I didn't see enough units with 2 power or less that really would allow me to work with that in a limited format. Han Solo might be able to work if I absolutely had to. Fennec Shand would also be fine. I had a lot of units that had 4 or more, but the really good ones would be in villainy, and I'd have to pay that aspect tax. So I'm pretty sure that the way we're going to be building this deck, and usually I like to have 2 builds just to kind of see how the 2 would play against each other. In this particular case, I think there's just one option, and that's going to be using Cad Bane as the leader. All right, I'll be right back. We'll get all the legal cards, and we'll see what we can do to build this deck. Okay, so here's all the legal cards. I have decided to go with Command for the 3rd color in order to maximize our card potential. And so what we'll do is we're going to start with the ground units, then we'll go on to the space units, then we'll evaluate events and upgrades. I'm trying to hit for around 20 to 22 units. I prefer units, especially in a limited format. So let's see if we can get to that magic number between 20 and 22. So let's start looking at these. I did count beforehand. We have 14 Underworld cards. If I choose every single Underworld card or every unit that's out there, of course, Cad Bane, that's going to work in conjunction with Cad Bane, especially once deployed. If I play an Underworld card, I can choose an opponent. They choose a unit they control, and then they will do 2 damage to it, and we use that ability only once per turn. So I really like Salacious Crumb. I think that would be a really good card in this deck, so that's going to be a definite keep. I have 2 copies of the Bounty Guild Initiate. When played, if I control another bounty hunter, you may deal 2 damage to a ground unit. I will have about 5 or 6 bounty hunters at the end of this deck build. So, I think that if we play our cards right, we'll be able to use this Bounty Guild Initiate, and it would probably be a good early drop. The Criminal Muscle, return a non-unique upgrade. Let's put this aside to the moment and see how many upgrades we have, non-unique upgrades. I like the Gamorrean Retainer. I'm going to put the Fugitive Wookiee off to the side. The Warbird Stowaway is good with the Underworld tag. The Mandalorian Warrior, let's put that to the side just to kind of see how many Mandalorians we have. The 4 LOM and the Hut's Henchman are definite. The Crosshair is a definite, even though it's not Underworld. Maul is by far the best. The 2 mercenary companies, which, oh, by the way, are also Underworld. are going to be very good, and resource pursuers, which is a bounty hunter. So, I think I have decided I'm going to put the criminal muscle in because that is an underworld card. So let's just put that in there. Could be some additional damage that we can dole out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 units on the ground. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so here's our space units, and I think there's some really good early drops that would probably be good. The privateer sick, let's just put that to the side, for both those to the side for the moment. Let's see if I need those. The collection Star Hopper is certainly something that I want. It has a smuggle mechanic. It is only a 2/2, but the underworld tag I think is going to be very good, especially if we're out there in space. So we'll keep that. The mercenary gunship, I don't think that that's something that I want to keep, so I'm going to get rid of that right away. I don't want our opponent to be grabbing that. The lurking TIE Phantom is good. The slaver's freighter is good. Where I can ready another unit with power equal to or less than the number of upgrades on enemy units. So the upgrade becomes important. And I think, let's go ahead and add the privateer sick in there as well. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20. So of that, how many are Mandalorians? So far none. No Mandalorian. So that really kind of takes a Mandalorian warrior, it just becomes a 3/3 general. So, all right, let's just keep it with 20. That's right at the minimum level of units that I would like. I'm going to keep the Wookiee and the Mandalorian warrior out here just in case. But let's look at some of the upgrades. Okay, so the upgrades that I have, really I only have one upgrade that I can put on my own unit, and that's the jetpack. The other upgrades that I have are going to allow me to get the bounty onto one of my opponent's units. I think ready 2 friendly resources, that could come in handy. The enticing reward, search top 10 cards from my deck for 2 non-unit cards. That might not be as beneficial. The bounter hunty quarry, search the top 5 cards of your deck, or 10 cards instead if this unit is unique. For a unit that costs 3 or less, and play it for free. So, I think that there's not much there in the area of units. So that one card, the Slaver's Freighter, becomes a little bit less important, but I'm going to still keep it in there because it's a 4 or 5 in space with the underworld tag that I can still do 2 damage, hopefully to an opposing unit even with that. We're going to put these upgrades to the side for the moment. Let's see what we have in terms of events and see if we can get the final 10 cards from the events. Okay, so here are all the events that we have. So the first thing that I see here is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So, we're struggling to kind of get those 30 cards, at least with what we have here in front of us. Let's take care of a couple things. I do like the swoop down, where you can attack with a space unit, and again, Saboteur can attack ground units with a penalty to those ground units, so I will take that. The commission doesn't really help us all that much. It's search a top 10 cards for a bounty hunter item or transport card. I don't think I have any transport cards, and we already decided that I don't have much in the terms of bounty hunter, although my leader is a bounty hunter, but of course I won't be searching for him. So I'm going to put that off to the side. Look the other way could be very strategic in how we play that. Timely intervention, play a unit from your hand, give it ambush, and it has a smuggle, so I think that's a definite keep. The outflank is good, especially if we have 2 units out at the very beginning of the turn. The Relentless Pursuit, I think, is good. Give a unit 4/4, +4/+4 this phase is really good, so the Moment of Glory. I'm not a big fan of No Bargain. I don't like it when opponents discard. I don't think that this game, that benefits me. I have to lose one card in order to make the opponent lose two, and then we draw two anyway. It's just, I don't get enough out of that. And then the Surprise Strike is also good with attack with the unit. It gets +3/+0. So, you know, I think in terms of the events, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that's 9 units right there. The other thing that I could consider are a couple cards off aspect. Rivals Fall, defeat a unit. Oh, that would be 8, and that's pretty hard. The other thing I can consider is this Daring Raid. Do 2 damage to a unit or a base. I would have to play that for 3 instead of 1. Late game, that might be a pretty good option. So I'm going to put the Rivals Fall back, and then start looking at what other cards I can perhaps use. I would then be able to say perhaps the Mandalorian Warrior or the Wookiee. The Wookiee has a bounty associated with it. The Jetpack I attach to a non-vehicle unit. When played, I give a shield token to an attached unit at the start of the regroup phase. Then I defeat that token, the shield token. So it essentially gives protection for that turn. And it does have the smuggle. You know, I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to put the Jetpack in there, and we're going to see how well that works. So, I'll be right back with the final deck, and then we'll shuffle up and we'll try to goldfish this and see how well it plays. Okay, so this is the final deck that I've selected from the card pool that we have. I see that there's a really good early game. The late game, I think, is also strong with the right cards. I have enough strategic cards with the look the other way, where I can exhaust a unit as long as it either exhausts a unit or exhausts their resources. I think that that's good. Outflank, I think, is a very good one too. And then I have the Moment of Glory and Relentless Pursuit. So I think I have enough power here in the late game. I certainly have enough to build immediate presence in the early game. Let's shuffle it up and let's see how this deck might work. Okay, I've shuffled up the deck, and let's just kind of see what the first 6 cards would be. And let's see how I'd be able to resource that, and if I'd be able to make a good first turn play. Okay, so I get 2 outflanks right off the bat. I would probably keep that Bounty Guild Initiate just to develop presence. The Lurking TIE Phantom also looks really good. The Relentless Pursuit I could keep for a little bit later. So I think the right approach here is to resource the outflank and the look the other way, and we would then begin the turn. I would probably exhaust 1 to put out the Bounty Guild Initiate. When played, if I control another Bounty Hunter, I can deal 2 damage to a ground unit. That's fine, I don't get that effect, but at least I have presence on the ground immediately to start working. Whenever I play an Underworld card, I can exhaust this leader. If I do, an opponent chooses a unit they control, deal 1 damage to it. So if they have the initiative and they played out a card first, I would be able to do that, exhaust it, and put 1 damage right to their unit. Alright, let's see what the next 2 cards would be. The Mercenary Company and the Privateer Sick. Well, I think then what I'm going to do, I'm really trying to get to this Lurking TIE Phantom, perhaps to even get to the outflank. So I think the right choice here is to resource the Privateer Sick. And then what I'd be able to do is play out the Lurking TIE Phantom whenever I play an Underworld card, but this is not an Underworld, so I would just have to just have a good presence in space. That Raid 2 should be really good. And this unit can't be captured, damaged, or defeated by enemy card abilities, so that gives it a little bit of protection. So then, perhaps attack with this. I won't be able to use Cad Bane's effect this turn. Let's see what the next two would be. Ooh, Salacious Crumb and Warbird Stowaway. Well, perhaps what I would do there... Would I resource Salacious Crumb? Because I really want to keep that in the late game, and I'd really like to keep that in the late game, and I have an opportunity, theoretically. We're assuming that the opponent hasn't taken out one of my units, although with the exception of Lurking TIE Phantom, I don't know if Bounty Guild Initiate would cause anyone to try to take that one out. If I had 2 units available, I would probably keep the outflank and play Salacious Crumb and Warbird Stowaway. However, if I don't have 2 units, I would probably resource the outflank and then play Salacious Crumb and Warbird Stowaway for the 4. Alright, that's about as far as I can go. I get into a lot of what ifs. Let's shuffle up one more time and see what this deck might be able to do. Okay, we've shuffled up one more time. Let's see what happens when we try to start this hand off. Alright, Surprise Strike, Gamorrean Retainer, Timely Intervention, Look the Other Way, and a Mercenary Company. Okay. So I would probably want to resource one of these Look the Other Ways. The Timely Intervention is interesting, where I can play a unit from my hand, give it ambush, but it also has a smuggle mechanic, so I'm pretty sure that what I should do is resource that. And in our first play, we'll be able to exhaust these 2 resources and put out a Gamorrean Retainer. I don't have a command card on the field, so this would not have Sentinel, but it is early game, and so that doesn't matter so much. The next 2 cards would be... Okay. Well, I think what I might want to do... Perhaps I could do a little bit of tempo. I'm going to resource the Privateer Sick, and let's just assume that I'm assuming at this point that the opponent will have a unit on board. And what I can do is I can exhaust that or exhaust their resources. Since we're only at 3, that should be pretty detrimental. And then I'll be able to go in and swing for 6 with the Surprise Strike on the next turn with the Gamorrean Retainer. I think that's a pretty good opportunity. Alright, so these would be gone. Let's see what the next 2 cards would be. Swoop Down and Crosshair. I don't have the greatest space presence, so I would probably resource the Swoop Down, and now I have my choice between 4 LOM, which has Ambush. I don't have a Zuckuss, but it does have, it's a 4/4 with Ambush with the Underworld tag, so I'd be able to play that out. I think that would be the right move, because then I can exhaust Cad Bane, perhaps do one more damage to a unit, and since this has Ambush, be able to go in and hopefully take out one of their units, and then swinging for another 3 into the base, if this has still survived. I still don't have that command card out to give this Sentinel. That could happen next turn with Crosshair. Yeah, I would probably go with Crosshair if this still survives to give that Sentinel. Otherwise, this Hutt's Henchman is looking really good to me right now. I'd probably be able to resource the Bounty Guild Initiate, put this out, and I should be pretty good. Alright, that is this deck. I really appreciate you guys watching. I think that with this particular card pool, Command and Cad Bane is the best option. But you know what? If you disagree with me, let me know. Let me know in the comments, and I'd certainly like to hear from you. Be sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons if you lasted this long. I really appreciate it. Check out our other content on the channel. I have other sealed strategies, and of course we have the Intergalactic Card Nerds, which is just a lot of fun in playing Star Wars Unlimited in a multiplayer format. So check all those videos out at the Gamma Ray Society YouTube page, and I'd really appreciate your support. Thank you so much, and have a great day, and may the cards be with you.